Hey 49er fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into the 49ers Report on a Monday. Before we start today's video, of course, is brought to you guys by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/49ers for 20% off your first order, plus free shipping. The link will be down below right now in the description box. All right, 49er fans, let's go and jump into the latest 49ers news and rumors, and this broke literally a couple of minutes ago when I'm filming this video. That, of course, the fact that 49ers have a new defensive back, a new safety, and Tavon Wilson. They signed him to a one-year deal. Here is the Ian Rappaport tweet, which broke the news again earlier this morning here on a Monday. Quote, the 49ers have agreed to terms with Colts free agent defensive back Tavon Wilson on a one-year deal, source said. He spent the earlier portion of his career with the Lions and the Patriots. So, the 49ers have addressed the safety position and signed a guy who adds some upside and has a lot of experience, but I think is, not exactly anything to go ahead and get super excited about. No offense to Tavon Wilson. Again, they needed to go ahead and address the free safety spot because you have Jaquiski Tartt most likely leaving, but he's kind of this veteran option that you don't really want to rely on as a starter, as he's more kind of a special teams guy. So the question still remains, are they going to go ahead and have Wilson be the starter? Like, is he going to go ahead and be the starter opposite of Jimmy Ward, or is he just a depth guy and they're going to address it either in the draft, or I guess it would probably only be the draft, or they're going to promote like a Marcel Harris overall from within. 15 games last year in 2020 with the Colts, 26 tackles, nothing to go ahead and write home about. And the question again goes ahead and becomes, is he going to start, or is it going to be clearly Tarvarius Moore and Jimmy Ward? You would expect it to go ahead and be Ward, but maybe there is some sort of, Moore, but there could go ahead and maybe be a safety competition in training camp. I think right now it's safe to say your defensive back depth chart makes sense with Ward and Moore being the two starters, and of course Wilson going ahead and backing up Moore. So it's a signing. It counts. I mean, technically we got to break it all down, but it is not something to go ahead and get super duper excited about. With that being said, I'm very curious what you guys think about the overall grade of this move. Again, I want to poo-poo and make you guys bummed about the move here on a Monday, but it's not like they went ahead and signed some sort of starter level safety. He's probably going to go ahead and be a special teams guy and a backup guy. So give me a grade on the Tavon Wilson signing, A, B, C, D, or F. Personally, I think I'd go ahead and give it like a B- or a C+. Again, it's nothing against the guy. I think he'd be a good special teams guy and maybe have an open competition at camp, and he rolls in there and wins the starting job and becomes a starter opposite of Jimmy Ward. That's the hope. But at the same time, you sit back and go, this is a guy who's never really been a starter in his career. He's been a special teams guy over the past couple of years, and so they're going to go ahead and, I guess, roll with most likely Moore and Jimmy Ward, which is not a bad safety pairing. You just kind of want a little bit more of an upgrade over Moore if it was me. The problem is that the draft, as we've talked about, is not necessarily a big-time safety draft this year. We said there's no Grant Delpit, there's no Jamal Adams, and so taking a safety in the top 15 in the first round is not really an option. Now, if you trade back, later first round, early second round, maybe you go ahead and take a safety at that point, but it just doesn't seem to go ahead and make a lot of sense with our 49ers in terms of taking somebody in the draft, because the safety spot, again, it's just not that strong overall. So, wanted to start by just saying it's official. Tavon Wilson, there were reports the past couple of days they were going to interview him. They did, and now he's officially agreed to sign a one-year deal with the 49ers to address the free safety need and most likely be the replacement, if and when, because he's not signed yet, but most likely when Jaquiski Tartt goes ahead and signs somewhere else. So we'll see. Special teams value is definitely going to go ahead and be there, and that's good news for the 49ers. And again, the grade on this, it's not anything special, B-, C+, because I saw safety, and I said, oh my gosh, they got a safety. Who is it? And then I was like, oh, okay. It's just kind of a backup safety. He'll be special teams depth, which is great, good kick coverage. That's fantastic. Give credit where credit is due, but overall not exactly the biggest and most exciting signing here on a Monday, but wanted to go ahead and jump on here and give you guys that quick update. Again, make sure you guys are subscribed to the 49ers Report, as we have plenty of news and rumors and videos just like this, right? If you go ahead and sub, then you're one of the first to go ahead and get this news video in your subscriber box on YouTube, meaning you're up to date when the 49ers make their big moves. So go ahead and go down below and hit that big red subscribe button for the latest news and rumors all offseason. And then when we get to the regular season, plenty more videos upcoming. Let's go ahead and dive into some quarterback rumors regarding our San Francisco 49ers. And this one, to me, is absolutely fascinating. The fact that the 49ers, according to reports, are still in on Deshaun Watson, despite the really, crazy week Watson has had with all the new lawsuits that have come out. And again, we'll explain that here in just one second. So the report is several teams, not just the 49ers, but several teams are interested in still trading for Deshaun Watson on the heels of a week where we saw 7 lawsuits being filed against Watson and many more scheduled to go ahead and come. The question now is not will the 49ers trade for him? Is he too expensive? The real question is he worth taking a risk on? Because the whole scenario in Houston with Deshaun Watson is taking a dramatic turn, and it's going to be very interesting to see where it ends up, as there are some legit lawsuits out right now, and it looks like, in my opinion, no one's going to go ahead and trade for Watson anytime soon. So there's a good write-up here from the 49ers web zone on Deshaun Watson that gives more explanation into the week that has happened. Quote, the plethora of sexual assault allegations that emerged this past week was assumed to hurt quarterback Deshaun Watson's trade value, and perhaps it has. However, this doesn't mean the teams aren't interested at all. Despite the developing situation, Aaron Wilson of the Houston Chronicle named 6 teams that, quote, remain interested and are monitoring the situation surrounding the lawsuits. San Francisco 49ers are among the teams that Wilson names are still interested in the young Pro Bowl quarterback should he become available, per Wilson's unnamed sources. The other are the Philadelphia Eagles, Carolina Panthers, New York Jets, Miami Dolphins, and Denver Broncos, end quote. Again, there's a lot more in terms of the off-the-field legal side that we're not going to go ahead and discuss or get into. That's all going to be developed, and there'll be an outcome on that regardless. The real issue right now is from an on-the-field standpoint, would you even trade for Deshaun Watson after all of these lawsuits and allegations? Listen, Watson right now is risky, and he's expensive. So before he was expensive, now he's expensive and risky, right? Because if you trade for him and it turns out that these lawsuits, become something and they become real and the NFL does a private investigation, there's a very real possibility Deshaun Watson can be suspended for a game, for 3 games, for 6 games, maybe the entire season, maybe indefinitely, right? This could really become a serious issue for any team that wants to go ahead and trade for Deshaun Watson, strictly speaking on the field. Off the field, they're going to figure that all out, right? We're going to discuss about the allegations and stuff like that. That's all being decided. You can Google that and figure that all out. But strictly on the field right now, the risk to me is way too high. You cannot you just can't be a GM in this league or an owner in this league and go, okay, 7 lawsuits with more to come. Yeah, let's go ahead and, I'll still send 3 first-round draft picks. Let's just, hopefully it turns out to be not true, right? That would be the hope you'd have to have as a GM, and that's just, with everything going on, you just can't risk your franchise on that. The thing that 49ers have to understand right now is first-round draft picks are worth a lot, and keeping your first-round draft picks is very important. And I was obviously hesitant to even trade first-round draft picks in the first place for Deshaun Watson, but now with off-the-field issues, I'm out on that. I'm officially, I'm out for now until we learn more. Let's just say that. I would much rather, at this point, just draft a quarterback. If you're not sold on Jimmy Garoppolo, fine. Then go ahead and draft a quarterback, spend a first-round draft pick and maybe a future first-round draft pick to trade up, instead of risking things with Deshaun Watson as the lawsuits continue and the allegations continue to grow and the off-the-field issues become even bigger overall. I would draft a quarterback and feel very confident with drafting a quarterback versus going for a guy like Deshaun Watson. I'll leave it up to you guys, though. Would you rather trade for Watson right now, or draft a quarterback, or stick with Jimmy Garoppolo? Still a very real possibility. Type 1 down below for trading for Watson. Type 2 down below for drafting a quarterback, or if you want them to go ahead and stick with Deshaun Watson, or Jimmy Garoppolo, type 3 down below for that one. So plenty of options, but I'm curious what you guys think about that down below right now. Again, 1 for Watson, 2 for drafting a quarterback, 3 for sticking with Jimmy G. All right, speaking of quarterbacks here, there is some quick news on Joe Flacco's visit over the weekend. If you did not see this, I have the report for you. The Niners met with Flacco this weekend. They did not reach a contract, which kind of tells you that the meeting either didn't go well or Flacco just wants to kind of explore his other options. As, of course, we now know he's going to meet with the Philadelphia Eagles over the next couple of days. There's not a big take on this. They're not going to sign him to compete with Jimmy Garoppolo. He's strictly going to come in to go ahead and be a backup quarterback. But the option at backup quarterback, honestly, it'd be pretty solid. The problem that I have right now is, why not just either roll with Josh Rosen, who you already signed to potentially be the backup, or draft the backup, right? Hear me out on this. Just a thought I had the past couple of days. What if they want to roll with Garoppolo, and that's a possibility, right? So let's say they don't trade for Watson. I don't know, and the whole stuff going on, I don't think that they will. Let's say they don't want to trade up in the first round for a quarterback. Why not draft Kellen Mond in the 3rd round? Then he can be your backup quarterback, but also potentially the future as Jimmy Garoppolo still tries to go ahead and play and figure out just how great he's going to go ahead and be, right? That to me would be another option for the 49ers to go ahead and do, as Mond is a guy who I think has some potential to be a good quarterback. I've been kind of iffy on him, and during some of our talks, just simply from the fact that he is, in my opinion, not the best of the quarterbacks in this draft, simply put, and didn't have the greatest season at Texas A&M or the greatest past couple of seasons at Texas A&M, but it's another option, right? So the Niners' options are stick with Jimmy Garoppolo, trade for Deshaun Watson, who has 7+ lawsuits already filed or coming, draft a backup quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round who can grow to be the starter, or trade up for a starting quarterback. So a lot of options there, but in terms of getting a backup, why not just draft somebody instead of bringing in Joe Flacco? Or the real simple solution is to roll with Josh Rosen, who many people consider to go ahead and already have the backup job after being signed just a couple of months ago. I'll finish with this question here for this part of the show in terms of asking if the 49ers should sign Joe Flacco. Type Y down below for yes. If you don't think they should, type N down below for no. All right, before we go ahead and get into some more free agency stuff, I want to again say this video is brought to you guys by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/49ers for 20% off your first order plus free shipping. And honestly, if you're picking up some Manscaped products, just get all of them in one and what's called the perfect package. They sent this to me like a year ago. Still using it today. Absolutely fantastic. The Lawnmower 3.0, the 8-hour battery life. It's water resistant. You got the light on the end. Absolutely fantastic trimmer, in my opinion. I use that again like on a weekly basis. You also get the travel bag, the boxers, and then the toner and the deodorant all in one, called the perfect package. And right now, for our 49er Report viewers, you can get it at manscaped.com/49ers for 20% off and get free shipping as well. The link will be down below that here in the description box. All right, let's finish quickly with a quick update on the rest of the NFC West and their signings, because there were some other signings in our division the past couple of days, and I think we should go ahead and at least comment on those, because those are the teams you play the most year to year. Let's take a look at the Cardinals free agency moves first. They, of course, signed J.J. Watt. This past 2 days, they got A.J. Green, the Bengal wide receiver, Marcus Golden, the linebacker. They signed, of course, Matt Prater, the kicker, and then traded for Rodney Hudson, the center, from the Raiders. Honestly, the Cardinals, in my opinion, have had a very good offseason. We'll see how much of an impact J.J. Watt and A.J. Green have. 2 big names, but 2 aging names, and so maybe they're going to be a little bit less than exciting in terms of what Cardinal fans are thinking right now. But that team, honestly, I mean, let's be real, it looks pretty strong. The Rams free agency moves a little bit less muted or a little bit less exciting just because of the fact they don't have a lot of money, but they did re-sign Leonard Floyd, the linebacker. They traded, of course, for Matthew Stafford, as we talked about. They signed Deshaun Jackson today, the speedy wide receiver from Philly, who is good when he's healthy, but he played 2 years in Philadelphia the past 2 years and was not healthy at all, so not a big signing there, in my opinion. And then Johnny Munt, the tight end, they added another weapon there to go ahead and bring in for new quarterback Matthew Stafford. The Rams are going to be a real pain next year. I mean, just the Stafford trade alone is huge, and we talked about that. I mean, it's going to be tough to go ahead and play against him, because Jared Goff was always kind of the gift that kind of would give you a couple of games with his turnover tendencies. And of course, you finished with something like the 49ers. I mean, you can go over to the 49ers right now and look at how the fact that they re-signed Trent Williams and re-signed Kyle Juszczyk, and then of course Jason Verrett. Those are all good signings. The signing of Alex Mack is one of my favorites, and then you even get a backup pass rusher to go ahead and fill the hole that they tried to fill whenever they signed a whole bunch of guys like Ziggy Ansah last year, and now of course with Bosa being back healthy, they should look pretty darn good. I forgot the Seattle Seahawks. We'll throw them down in right now. Seattle's had an interesting offseason. Haven't traded away Russell Wilson yet. They re-signed Poona Ford. They re-signed Chris Carson, the good running back. Gave him a lot of money, though. They traded for the guard from the Raiders, Gabe Jackson. They signed former 49er cornerback Ahkello Witherspoon. That was interesting. And then also signed the former Rams tight end Gerald Everett, who was one of the better pass-catching tight ends for the Rams over the past couple of years. So a quick update on the rest of the NFC West. They're all making moves, and this division looks to remain one of the best in the NFL, regardless of what the 49ers did this offseason. And I think they did a very good job, but the rest of the teams are trying to keep up, or at least try to go ahead and hold their spot at the top team in the NFC West. I'll finish on this. Which NFC West team is having the best free agency? Type ARI for Arizona, LAR for the Los Angeles Rams, SEA for Seattle, or SF for our 49ers. Again, listen, I think our 49ers did a pretty darn good job. So I would type SF because I thought they kept the players they needed to and went out and got a center, and that's huge. Let me know who had the best free agency or is having the best free agency right now down below. That's all we have for today in the 49ers Report. I'm your host, Thomas Mott, signing off the rest of your day.